There are currently 31 licensed sportsbooks in Ontario. Every single one of them is offering you free money to sign up. Most people grab one, maybe two of these, and put that bonus money to a parlay, and just go back to end up losing thousands of their own cash. This video is episode 1 of a series that's going to take you from a recreational bettor to somebody who can actually extract money from these platforms consistently, also known as a sharp bettor. No picks, no courses, no BS. Today we're starting at the very beginning, bonus hunting. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to turn Sportsbook's welcome offers into real withdrawable cash. I made a rougher version of this video about a year ago. This is a complete rebuilt version with everything I've learned since. Now for some quick context, I've personally been banned by multiple Ontario sportsbooks for beating them at their own game. Books like FanDuel, Bet365, PointsBet, Bet99, and Betano have all declined all of my wagers moving forward, not because I got lucky, but because I had a system. I was beating them at what they were best at doing. Bonuses were actually how I got started, and the money I extracted from all these sportsbooks funded everything that came after that. This series walks you through the exact progression I went through, starting with the easiest and lowest risk method first. So what actually is bonus hunting or bonus milking? Every sportsbook has a welcome offer to get you to sign up. The most common structure is either a deposit match, where they match the amount of money you put in through bonus bets, or what they call a no-sweat bet or a risk-free bet, meaning that if your first wager loses, they refund you the equivalent stake in a bonus bet. These sportsbooks put out these generous offers in the hopes that you will eventually be a profitable bettor for them, making them money in the long run. Now, before I show you how to actually execute this method, I'm just going to explain the potential and then the math behind it. So there are roughly about 31 licensed and accessible sportsbooks in Ontario right now. It's probably the same for almost every region. Even accounting for the smaller bonus, you're looking at an average of maybe $600 per book in welcome offer value. That's roughly $18,600 in right there waiting to be converted and made into cash. Like I said, there's two types of welcome offers. One of them is the no sweat bet or risk-free bet, and the other one is the deposit match. Now, the risk-free bet is a little bit more simple and the ones I would recommend starting out with. Meaning, if your first bet loses, you get the bonus funds back in the equivalent amount that you initially wagered. Meaning, for example, with Caesars, I know if your first bet up to $500 loses, they give you back $500 in a sports bonus. In order to make this simple, I'm going to have you imagine an event, say a hockey game between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Ottawa Senators. In hockey, obviously there is no tie. This means that either the Chicago Blackhawks or the Ottawa Senators are going to end up winning this game. If we can place two opposing bets on either side, we guarantee one of them winning. There's no ties. Either the Blackhawks or the Senators are going to win in this imaginary game. I want you to keep that principle in mind throughout the entirety of me explaining the next scenarios. Now, the way I personally like to tackle these no sweat bet offers is by finding a bet that is very unlikely to hit on the side of the free book. So, for example, if we were doing the Caesars bonus for $500, if our first stake loses, I would go and try to find a bet that is very unlikely to hit on that side, and I would hedge it with an opposing amount on the other side. I would try to find anything roughly around plus 250 or higher, meaning this gives the bet only a 28% chance of hitting at the low end. However, if we bring this up to something a little bit less likely, like plus, let's say 350, this only gives the bet about a 22% chance of hitting on the side of Caesars. What we want to happen is the bet to lose on the Caesar side, but our hedge bet to win at a lot more favorable odds, meaning that we make up for those $500 that we lost on Caesars on our hedge book, but we also gain that $500 bonus because we lost, quote unquote, on the Caesar side. The math with these match deposit offers a little bit differently. They will match whatever you deposit with a bonus, much like, for example, the Betano bonus. With Betano, they will deposit another $500 in bonus funds once you have deposited your original $500. In order to be able to withdraw these funds, you have to wager it a certain amount of times. I believe for Betano, it's 5 times if I'm not mistaken, meaning you have to multiply whatever the bonus is times 5 in order to be able to withdraw it. The way I would do this is the same thing as before. You take that entire amount, in this case $1,000 from Betano, you do the same thing you did with Caesars. You find a hedge bet, you place it on the opposing side, and after that, you are able to withdraw that money since the $1,000 balance is now gone on Betano. However, if for any reason the bet doesn't hit on the side that you want and hits on the Betano side, you simply just do it all over again with the whole amount or a partial amount until you've hit that 5 times rollover, essentially bouncing the balance back and forth until you have completed those wagering requirements. You understand the math, now it's time to put this into practice. The first thing you're going to need is some sort of tool or software that scrapes these odds together and shows you the opportunities for these opposing bets. I used 3 different ones. However, the most basic one that you should be using at the very start is called EdgeHunters. They're very beginner friendly and quite literally guide you step by step, holding your hand into finding these opportunities, finding these bonuses, and teaching you how to execute them the right way. Something I really like about them is the fact that it displays every bonus, well, almost every bonus available in your area through these sportsbook sign-up offers that they have right here. This way, you're able to scroll through every single one available to you, and it tells you the amount, how much it's for, and if there's any better codes that you can use in order to get a higher offer. As you can see through here, you simply click into any of them. For example, this Bet Online one here, it will show you step-by-step instructions into what to do in order to extract the money from these sports books. If you sign up through my link in the description, they've offered you 7 days to use this tool for free at no risk to you. After that, it's fairly affordable at, I believe, only about $40 to $60 a month, which you will make your investment back tenfold if you're able to milk all these bonuses. Now that you have a tool to scrape these odds and you're set up in that regard, you're going to need a few books that you can use to hedge, assuming that you haven't signed up for any sports books in the past. Now, I'm in Ontario, so I'm going to tell you the ones I personally recommend for signing up as your first hedge books, which are Pinnacle and Ballybet. So those 2 books I've chosen because Pinnacle is a very sharp book, meaning it has very good odds. And Ballybet I have chosen because they give you access to their book. However, they are currently only offering a $50 bonus, meaning if you're not able to hedge that one and you just want to use it normally, there's no issue with that. You're not losing out on much money compared to signing up for something like a FanDuel or Bet365, which you're losing out on $1,000, if not more. We're going to be using Ballybet as an example for our first bet. Let's assume that Ballybet has a sign-up offer of an $100 risk-free bet. I know they don't, but this is what we're going to assume for the sake of the example. Now, this Dutch matcher is a tool that we're going to use on EdgeHunters in order to scrape these opportunities. First thing you're going to notice here is Sportsbook 1, Sportsbook 2, meaning Sportsbook 1 is going to be the book that the bonus is on. So for this example, Ballybet, $100 no sweat risk-free bonus is going to be this one. We're going to have it under normal mode. And on Sportsbook 2, it's going to let you choose whichever books you have signed up for as a hedge book. So for example, Pinnacle, you can search up here. If you will have a FanDuel, you can search up FanDuel. Any book that you have, you can categorize under here. So now that you've already selected every book that you have as a hedge and the book that you have the bonus on, you're going to have this filter option here for minimum or maximum odds. I mentioned before, I'm looking for anything primarily around the 200s. So right now I have a filter as my minimum odds to display as 200. So as we can see, here we have all the opposing opportunities. We have plus 220, minus 220 on opposing events. And over here we have another section that says rating. Rating is how much of the total stake you're going to retain based on the opportunity displayed to you. So with this one, you're going to retain 107%, meaning you're actually going to make a little bit of profit by placing these opposing bets. On this one, you're going to be retaining 98.58%, so almost everything. Now, let's say we wanted to take advantage of this money line here, which is Chicago Blackhawks versus Edmonton Oilers. We established one of these teams is going to win. We would go here, and we would put the amount that we have on our original book here. So this is the book with the bonus. Let's say we put, again, $100 at plus 200, and then we have this other side. It will automatically populate and show us how much exactly we need to put in order for us to hedge this bet. So it explains very clearly here, if bet number 1 wins, bet number 1, we get a return of $300. So plus 100 at odds of plus 200 will return $300 to us, meaning our profit and loss is $200 minus $202 on the other side. We are losing $2.60. Same thing here. we're losing $2.60. In order to actually place these bets, we're just going to click the event here. It's going to take us to Ballybet. Now you can do this on your phone and manually search it up. However, they have the one-click betting, which is pretty useful because it will automatically load in the sportsbook and show us the event. We would go here, which is Moneyline for the Chicago Blackhawks. We were looking for the event at plus 200. We would click here and we would put down a stake of $100, giving us a payout of $300 like we saw over there. Now, over here on the other bettor website, which is sportsbetting.ag, you would put the amount I showed you before, 202 with 60 cents. You always want to try to round up to a whole number, so call it 203 on this side. 203, giving us a payout of $97 or 203, just like I showed us over here. Establishing our opposing bets, we click enter, we place bet number 1 and place bet number 2. That way we're covered, and one of these is going to hit on either Ballybet or NHL. However, this is heavily favored to hit over on Ballybet, giving us about a 70% chance of losing on this side and winning on this side, giving us that hypothetical $100 bonus bet. Now we've woken up on the next day and the bet has settled. One of two things is going to be true. Either the Blackhawks won and we didn't receive the bonus bet since the Ballybet side is the one that hit, or what is the most likely scenario, like we said, about a 70% chance that the Blackhawks lost and we did receive the bonus bet on Ballybet, but we also made back our original stake on sportsbetting.ag, which was our hedge book. Now, what you're going to do after that, once you've confirmed that you've received the bonus bet, you're going to have to look for a conversion bet. We're back at the Dutch matcher, only this time instead of being under the normal setting, we're going to hit the free bet, since we are going to be converting that free bet to cash with our final wager. Now you want to go here again and just sort for Ballybet. Going to hit apply, and you are going to choose whatever books you have a hedge on. So right now on Bet365, we can see that we have a conversion of 83%. So we have $100. This gives us $83 back in cash value. No matter what happens this time, it doesn't matter if the New York Islanders win or the Carolina Hurricanes win. Going to go here, $100 and $116 on the other side. We're going to go to the event page and place them accordingly, just like we did the last time. It's pretty simple. Just make sure the odds are the same and the stakes line up. After you've gone ahead and placed both bets, you've made about $83 for 15, maybe 20 minutes of work. That's more than some doctors, lawyers, or even surgeons make. Now that you've literally learned how to legally rob these sports books, there's just a few things to keep in mind. One is that odds move fast. When the matcher finds you an opportunity, lock it in immediately and double check both sides before confirming the bet. You want to make sure both payouts align with what you're seeing on EdgeHunters, as well as the odds that you're going to be inputting. Don't rush through books, take your time, and make sure you understand how each bonus structure works before depositing. The way you can handle a no sweat bet is a lot different than how you're going to be able to handle a deposit match bet. Another very important part of this is, of course, keeping track of your profits and losses. Now you can make an account and track everything directly on EdgeHunters or almost any other tool. However, if you are just, running off of free trials, which is totally okay, then you can do what I do, which is just make your own spreadsheet showing your profits and losses for each book, see if one of the bets hit, and that way you're able to keep track of your profit. That's the end of episode 1. As you've seen, most of my content is very raw and unedited. I just like to provide as much value as possible with the least amount of fluff. Episode 2 is going to get into a lot more of what matched betting is. Betting arbitrage, mostly just how to keep your accounts healthy, how to keep them from getting flagged, and how to extract every little dollar you can before inevitably you do get your account restricted for winning. Like I mentioned before, all the links to everything, especially EdgeHunters, is going to be in the description. And unlike anybody else just doing this to sell a course or picks, if anybody comments absolutely anything at any point in time, I will do my best to respond to that comment and personally tutor you within the next 24 hours of you posting that comment.